right, folks, we got game number 21 coming up. Game 21. All right, here we go. It says here, second match game between Morphy and Lowenthal. July 20th, 1858. All right, Morphy has the white pieces. He launches the E-pawn. Lowenthal answers with E5. And Morphy with the F4 pawn push, the King's Gambit. Folks, we're going to see a lot of fireworks, a lot of games with this. A very dangerous weapon in the hands of Paul Morphy, the King's Gambit. Okay, so anyway, let's see. I can't believe we're in game 21, and this is our first King's Gambit. This was all the rave back in the day. But anyway, here we go. We got Lowenthal, right? He doesn't take the pawn. Okay, that's the King's Gambit accepted. He declines the gambit. He plays the bishop to C5. Good move on the part of Lowenthal. You don't want to give your opponent, you don't want to play right into his wheelhouse. I mean, you take that pawn on F4, Morphy, he's liable to knock you out real quick. All right, so here we go. Morphy develops the king knight. And just to show also, this is a very smart move by Lowenthal. You see this bishop's in a very good post now because the F-pawn moved up. So see how it opens this diagonal here for this enemy bishop. I mean, you're really, white's really exposed. Can't castle kingside in this point. All right? Lowenthal closes the pawn chain now that his bishop is out. Okay, so that soldier's out in the battlefield. You can close the door now, right? Close the gate. All right, so D6 is played, and now you got Morphy here. Look at this, C3. Okay, we got our first note. It says, not now considered a good move, though frequently played in Morphy's days, and occasionally adopted since by bold spirits like Chigorin and Karasek. Please forgive me, I'm butchering those names. But anyway, it says Morphy was partial to it. See the fourth game against Lowenthal, and also games, let's see, that's 111. We got game 179, 185, and 186. All right, I'm reading the Roman numerals. All right, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. All right, so anyway, there you go. So now, this is the C3 move. The idea is to push D4 next, right? Supporting the D4 pawn push, right? Okay, let me pull this one back just to show you. All right, so now what is Lowenthal play? Look at this. He pins the knight, folks. He pins the F3 knight. Okay, and here we got our second note. It says, but this is not the best reply, though it was the one made by all Morphy's opponents. How about that? I guess they considered this the best move, right? But here we go. The old masters recommend knight to F6 being the best. Makes sense because you're attacking the E4 pawn, right? And now the natural move is impossible, right? The pawn on C3 stops the knight coming to its natural square. It's good post on C3, defending that E4 pawn, but you can't do it, right? So that makes a lot of sense. Good move. That's the recommended move here. Now they also give some other lines. They say knight C6 allows the pin. I mean, I don't think it's all that bad once you just break the pin like this. I mean, I had the Shredder engine. I went with Shredder. I fought it out. No advantage. Black could hold his own. I mean, here even this. Look at the engine here. You get D4 in. Right? They say D4. Let's see what the engine comes up with. I checked Shredder. There's really nothing going on. Look at this. You got the bishop check. And look at this. They play. Okay. If he takes with check, you develop the knight. Right? Okay, and what do we got now, right? I mean, D4 is protected. Is really, I mean, black's not in trouble. Here's what you have, though. Maybe this is what they were referring to. I mean, white has his space advantage. Okay, he has a space advantage, maybe a little plus. I mean, look at the engine. It's black's move, right? They're saying to question the bishop. All right, so you retain the bishop, I guess. That's what they want, right? All right, so, all right, you take. Look at it. All right, whatever. Well, let's simplify. You take, I guess. Who knows, right? Who knows at this stage? Okay, now everything is protected. You got the two knights. I mean, you got the big center, more space. But, I mean, is black worse? What's that space advantage worth right here? Look at that, 0.45. You see this, folks, up here? Look, 0.45, half a pawn, right? I mean, is that typical for white? You get the first move. Black's doing fine, no problem, right? No problem there. All right, so, you know, it's a whole other game. You know, they don't recommend it. They say, I mean, they just say in the notes, they just say, knight C6 allows white to pin. I mean, that's it. They didn't say bad or good or whatever, right? No big deal. I don't think that's bad for black. It's a game, right? Now, the other move they're suggesting here, they mention, I should say, they mention, is queen to e7, excuse me. Queen to e7, right? Says, turned out badly for Atkins in his tie match game with Napier, Hastings, January 1905. Well, you know, really, again, folks, look at the engine up there. Is it really any worse? Look at this. Big deal. I mean, 0.15 of a pawn. It's equal, right? I mean, what are we saying here? Let's do the engine. Look at the engine. They say take here. He takes back, right? Big deal. You bring the bishop out now. They're saying, now, I'm not giving the engine much time. Don't get me wrong. But look at this. Just this alone. I mean, is this bad for one side or the other? I don't see it. It's a game, folks. Who knows? It could go a million ways. Who knows why Atkins lost to Napier? Who knows what the reasons, huh? Maybe white slowly gets a slight advantage here. I don't know. Build it up. I mean, this is beyond our scope of the book, right? This system here, this course, whatever you want to call what we're doing here. What are we even doing? I don't even know, right? No, I mean, this is an idea. You could try it. If this turns up, you could try it, right? So anyway, the old masters back in the day said that this was the move, though. All right, this one looks the strongest. Putting pressure on e4 already. That means now, book move. Look at that. F takes e, e5. Look at this. This is the book move. All right, they say take back. And now you go in. You go in for the pawn, huh? All right, whatever. You know, that's the book. That's the book move there against this. I think the other engine, too, maybe Shredder recommend you could just protect the pawn like this. But, again, folks, you played d3. You played c3 to push d4. Now you're going to push only d3 to protect the e-pawn. Plus, now you lock in this guy on e2. I mean, what? You know what I mean? It's not Morphy. It's not Morphy. It's not aggressive, right? I mean, I don't know. This, I guess, is a good move for black. You're really putting the question to white. You know, you're putting pressure on that e-pawn. How are you going to defend it? Well, all right, so anyway, whole other game. Maybe we'll see that one coming up at some point. Who knows? All right, so anyway, we're at this stage. c3, and like I said, Lowenthal pins the knight with the bishop. Okay, now watch this. Here we go. Here we go. Now, it says here, on white's next move, c4th game, right? All right, and if you jump to the fourth game between these two guys, you have Morphy playing. They're saying this. They're saying he played the bishop to e2, right? And it says here in the note. Now this is the other. We're going to come to this game, right? But I just want to mention it. It says let's see. It says the text move, which is that given by Staunton, is better. This move opposed to what Morphy does in this actual game, in the second match game that we're going over right now. Morphy plays the bishop to c4, aiming at the black king side, right? But they're just saying that in the other game coming up, he plays this, and Staunton recommends that this is the better move of the two. Okay? Now, it also says that some like this, but if black, it says some like h3, but it seems unnecessary if black is determined in any case to take the knight. See, on this move, folks, and here's something amateurs got to realize. Let's say you're getting the thoughts together. It's black's move. You're black. You figure maybe I should pin that knight with bishop g4. But you don't do the move until you say, well, what if he plays h3 and hits me? What am I going to do? You don't make the move first, and then when he hits you, you go, oh, you know, I didn't think of that. What am I going to do? Should I take the knight, or should I back off, or should I pull the bishop back? What should I do? No, you ask that question at this point, okay? And if you're determined to take the knight, then, you know, you don't care either way. You got to know what you want to do before you play the pin. You understand? That's all I'm trying to say. You got to know what you're going to do. And what these notes of the old masters is saying is that some people like h3, but if black had already decided, I'm just going to play bishop g4 and take that knight out on f3, this is like a wasted move, h3. It's a dinky pawn move. See what happens? You take back with the queen, right? Okay. Let's say you play after the pin, you play your bishop out. This is what Morphy does. You see this? He plays bishop c4 in our game, right? Now, black goes ahead. This is what Lowenthal does. He takes the knight, right? And it says, you know, if you take back, now look, to have the bishop developed instead of the h3 pawn move is better, right? You got a piece developed. You got a soldier out into battle. This is the Morphy style we're talking. We want to get our troops out, okay? Key squares and good development, quick development, not pawn pushes. You understand? So that's why they say this h3 pawn move, well, you know, if black's willing to already decide to take the bishop, it's kind of like a wasted move. h3, big deal. What do you know, what's it really doing? Nothing. Meanwhile, if you do this, you got the piece out, okay? I'm just kind of stating the obvious again. I know I'm repeating myself, but it means a lot. This type of stuff adds up in the Morphy style. This is how Morphy made quick work of his opponents. You understand? All right, so anyway, here we go. So now Lowenthal took the knight. All right, we'll jump back to our game. Okay, Lowenthal takes the knight. After Morphy played bishop c4, Lowenthal takes the knight on f3, and it has a note here. Just as a quick note, it says knight to c6 as played by Bird was better. The old master Bird, he played this against Morphy. We'll come to that. They say, what game was this? Let me check the Roman numerals. Let me do my analysis here. 189. All right, we'll come to that, right? 189. We're only on game 21, huh? How much stronger are you going to be if you go over all these games, folks? Forget about it. By the time we get to that, it'll be like second nature to you. All right, you'll be telling me. You'll be typing to me what the moves are in the comments. All right, so anyway, here we go. So now, yes, Lowenthal takes the piece. Morphy takes back with the queen. And now he's threatening. Look at this. Watch this. I'll throw in a silly move by black. He can win a pawn like this if black doesn't watch it. Okay, because if he takes back like this, oh, you got mate. You see that? The queen on f3 is a little threat. Causes a little threat. You see that? Pawn takes e4. Pawn takes e5. Wins a pawn now. But okay, all right. Don't panic. Here we go. We got Lowenthal's no slouch. He knows what's going on. He develops the knight. Okay, he blocks that out. See, there's nothing there now. You take like this, no big deal. Okay, the knight blocks that queen, takes f7. All right, so here we go. Plus Lowenthal's developing a piece. He's getting ready to castle. All right, we'll see what happens next. Now, here we go. Watch this. Morphy hits the bishop. Can you believe this? He hits the bishop, right? All right, now, I want to show you something. If on this too, you got to understand what's going on. We also want to push d4. Remember the c3 pawn push? Well, when Lowenthal takes, Morphy takes back with the queen, diverting the queen away from d4, right? So now, after the knight comes out, look at this. You can't push here. You can't push d4. Takes the bishop, right? The bishop is covering it. So, you know, white loses a pawn like this. So anyway, maybe that's Lowenthal's idea, you know, just a little time, divert the queen away from d4. He's not going to push. I mean, that's the goal of this, is to get, look, a big center, right? Black's going to have to, all right, he wins a pawn at this point. But if he couldn't win that pawn, you know, he'd have to back that bishop off, and white would have a big center. Space advantage again. You know, we kind of looked at that before. What it's worth, who knows? Half a pawn, who knows? Who knows what it's down the road. It's the game to be played still, you know. Anything could happen. But here we go. So now we got Morphy playing this guy up here instead. Back in the... Now, they didn't give a question mark. They don't see any real sense. This doesn't go anywhere. The bishop pulls back to b6. And now you got Morphy playing this, d3, all right? d3 to protect e4. Get ready to bring the queen bishop out, maybe trade it off for black's bishop, black's dark square bishop, you know, which is very, very menacing. But, you know, Morphy can't castle. He can't castle because of that guy. So, you know, black's getting a lot of mileage out of that soldier out there, that bishop on b6. Strong piece. Strong minor piece right now. All right, so anyway, here we go. So what is after d3, we got Lowenthal developing another minor piece, right? Makes sense. Okay, he's developing the soldiers. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Look at this. After that, now, if you haven't noticed, look, let's just make a silly move. Look, if you take here, look at this. You take here, you see what's happening, folks? I mean, even if you do this, I'll show you just for example. I don't know, say you, say you just move the bishop out for some reason. All right, you take like this. Even if you take with the bishop, I mean, yeah, okay, you're going to try to fork that bishop and queen. And if he takes, all right, you got the bishop pair off the board for white, right? I mean, it's just a little thing. You don't want to take, look, definitely don't want to take like this. Forget it. Now the knight comes right in. I mean, look at this. You're setting yourself up for disaster. Lowenthal plays the knight. You trade right here. You give it right to him. Look at this. Now he forks the queen and the bishop. I mean, you move your queen. Now he chops off. He denies you the bishop pair, right? And then look, you got to take back with the d pawn. Oh, this is ugly. Now you got an isolated e pawn, right? We want to take towards the center and get more center control. We don't want to take away from the center and lose control, right? So this pawn, oh, this would be ugly for white. I mean, forget about it. Look at this. You just go like this. Watch this. After that, you just do something. I mean, they're saying castles, right? Maybe even bring the knight back to control this square right here. Forget about it. Forget about it. Come on. This is ugly. I mean, you post that. Look, they're saying this, right? You post that knight up here, right? What are you going to do? You back it up. You back it up with the queen. I mean, forget it. You got an outpost there on e5. That's no good. No good for white. You can't play like this. I mean, you're just giving yourself a disadvantage. One move, it's all it takes. Look, folks, one move, boom, and you're losing. Look at it. Let's see the engine. What does the engine think of this? Let's see this. Look, you go here, you take. Let me just see that engine. I didn't look at it. Look at this. Wow, and they're still giving white the advantage. Can you believe it? Oh, no, it's black's move. Okay, makes sense. Okay. This engine is a little strange. Okay, let's say we do like I said. Look at the engine. The engine now, at given time, settles on the move I played. Look at that. Knight to d7. Controlling the e5 square. Right? See white now? He's down by a pawn. Over a pawn now. See that? See how that little exchange can throw a monkey wrench in your game. All right, so anyway. So here we go. The knight comes out. Morphy advances the pawn. He says, you know, I'm not giving him e5. No way. No way. I'm not going to trade. That's crazy. So here we go. He advances. He gets a little space on the king side. Maybe he's trying to whip up an attack over there. All right. Now, let's see. What does Lowenthal play? Okay, Lowenthal plays the queen, develops the queen to e7. Okay. He's getting ready to castle. Maybe he'll castle long. And look at Morphy now. Morphy advancing the G pawn up, getting ready to boot that knight out of f6. He's advancing on the king side, folks. I mean, you know, here we go. We got Lowenthal playing h6, stopping that pawn push to g5. Okay? And he's stalling castling. Maybe he'll go queenside, you know. He could go queenside away from this king side pawn storm of Morphy. All right, so now we got, let's see. We got Look at this move now. Watch this. This one, I don't know, folks. I don't know. Here we go. Look at this. King to E2. This voluntary king to E2, while nearly all the pieces are on the board, arouses Steinitz admiration as forestalling modern tactics. He's just stalling. He wants to see what Lowenthal does. Does he castle queenside? Does he castle kingside still? We don't know. So he's not sure which way to go at it, you know. So he just makes this king move to E2. He's not sure where he wants to post those queenside pieces. I don't know, folks. You're going to see the lines coming up, all right? That could be pretty dangerous. I mean, you still always remember, this is Morphy we're talking about. You have your king stuck in the center, and the center gets ripped open. Look out. The tactics fly, okay? Now, at this point, there's no pawn exchanges that could result in the center at the moment. But, I mean, you know, down the road it could happen. Who knows? A sacrifice here and there. You rip it open, and the white king's stuck in the middle, getting fired upon. All right, so let's see what happens, though. All right, we'll see where it goes. Okay. Here is the next move. Here you go. You got, look, C6. What's this about, folks? What's this about? Well, just like white played C3, supporting the D4 pawn push, here's Lowenthal playing C6. Maybe he wants to play D5, okay? Hitting in the center, striking the center, okay. Watch what Morphy does now. He pushes over here. He pushes the pawn up. Hitting that knight. All right, Lowenthal exchanges. Here we go. Morphy takes back, and he's pinning the F6 knight. Now, look, if you try to push, you push, look, you could take, because you don't want to hang your queen, right? So, Morphy has it covered, right, folks? He has it covered. What do you think? What do you think? He's got it covered, right? All right, get a load of this. Lowenthal with D5. Lowenthal going in for it. Can you believe this? Now, get a load of this. Now, Lowenthal's no slouch. I'll tell you, folks. He's playing strong right here. Look at this. He's hitting the center with D5. Now, Morphy backs the bishop off. He backs the bishop, retreats, right? Why? All right, we're going to see why. Watch this, folks. Watch this. We just looked at it, right? Pawn takes. Pawn takes, right? You win the pawn, but get a load of this. Black doesn't take on D5. He doesn't take back. He pushes this guy. Did you see that? Again, rip it open. I was just saying it, folks. I was just saying it. Now, if you obvious move, you take back. Now the knight jumps in. Look at this move. Now you're not just busting the pawns up. You're going to win the bishop on C4 outright, because the queen, look, it's attacked, right? Double attack, forking the queen and the bishop on C4. You can't pull the bishop here to protect you can't pull the queen to E2 to protect the bishop. All right, so say you just, I don't know, you pull it over here, right? You pull it, and look at that. You lose the bishop. There you go. Game over, right? Okay, so anyway, that's this move, right? So now you can't take with the pawn. Now get a load of this. If you move, if you move the queen, I mean, forget about it. If you just, I don't know, you move the queen over, I don't know where you want to go. Maybe here again. You take, right? You take over here. The king takes, and look at this. In again with the knight. Checking now you're forking not the queen and bishop, you're forking the king and bishop. And the king can't protect the bishop still. He can't come to this square due to the king can't come up to protect the bishop on C4 because black's dark square bishop's got it covered. He's got to retreat, and there you go. Black wins the bishop all the same, right? He wins a piece. All right. Just checking too. The white doesn't get any pin on the queen. Luckily, there was no queen going back here. Look at this. Look at this. I'll show you. Hey, all right, look. I was just checking this out. On this move, right, he can't come here, right, to try to support a rook E1 down the road, because you just lose it to the bishop again on the dark diagonal. All right, so anyway, I'll tell you what, even if you do this, right, if you do this, and then he takes, and you fork him, and he comes back. Let's say he comes back here, it's check, right? It's check when you go here, it's check when the knight takes. All right, you can't support. And even if he could, I mean, heck, let's just say, right? He takes over here, folks. Even if this was allowed, right? I know right now it's not protected, but say if it was, you bring the knight back, right? But anyway, either way, I mean, you can't do it. You can't even play rook to e1, right? So there you go. So anyway, it falls apart, folks. It falls apart. Now look at this. This is the line they give for white. Get a load of this. This is the best. The old masters came up. They say this is the best white can do. You take the damn pawn. Can you believe it? You take him. You let him take over here. You take that queen. He takes you. You take him. Now look at this. Look at this. Forking the king and rook on h1. All right, you take him out, but look, you lose the exchange all the same. He recaptures, rook takes rook. And now here's what the masters give. They say take here, king takes, pawn takes pawn, black swings the other rook. He's up the exchange. He's going to swing the rook down. Very awkward for white. I mean, the d pawn on d7 is a goner. He's toast. Can't hang on to that, I don't think. And I mean, at this point, you know, black's threatening the double rooks on white's first rank and pin the knight, maybe win the knight, force a trade of rooks. I mean, forget it. It's all over for white. Look at the engine. What's it saying, huh? I mean, what white has? All right, he's down the exchange, but he's actually up. He's up 3 pawns for it, though, huh? Now, if d7 is going to fall, then he's up 2, you know? And, I mean, the other feature in this position, though, is the pinned knight and the awkward rook who can't get into the game on a1, all right? If black could build up off of that. I mean, it's white's move. Look, he's down a pawn. You know, he's down more than a pawn. Like, oh, let's see over here. See it? Minus 0.143. I mean, you know, looking pretty shaky. All right. So anyway, that's a game. That's what they say. Now look at this. If you get to this point, rook takes rook. The engine shredder, and now I see Chess Genius does the same. They find this move, bishop to d6. Hanging on to don't trade the knight for the bishop. Keep that bishop pair. But even now, I think, let's see, let's follow the engine. I think this is okay for black. He's still kind of, that awkward knight is pinned on b1 to the rook on a1. Look at this, he castles, right? He's going to swing that rook to the e-file. Take control of the e-file. Okay, bishop back, right? Bishop back. I mean, what do we get to check in? Who knows? It's a game, right, folks? It's still a game, but I think, you know, I think black's doing a little better here. Rook h5, huh? Going after the f-pawn. All right, it's a game, you know. It's still a fight. It's still a fight, baby. Like they said this was... They gave the other line. They said at this stage, the best thing to do was to take with the queen, right here. Right? You go queen for queen. He gets the exchange. And then instead of taking on c6 and trading the knight for the bishop, you retain your bishops even better. Maybe this is how white could fight on. You know, fight on, maybe unravel. Somehow get that knight out, get the knight and rook into the game. But I don't know. I think black's winning that one. All right, so now here we go. So what's going on? They trade, right? And sure enough, he plays d5, huh? Morphy forced back the bishop. He sees all that, okay? The whole rigmarole. He sees it all. He's got to pull back that bishop. All right, so he retreats. All right, so now look at this. Now, Lowenthal. Let's see, is this what he plays? Let me make sure now. I think he gets out of the pin. Yes, he plays queen to d6. He gets out of the pin. All right, Morphy developing the pieces. Come on, get them soldiers out of there. Get them out. All right, so now watch this move. Very good move by Lowenthal, striking with a5. Now look at this. Compelling white to take. Compelling white to take here. And so bringing Lowenthal's rook into the game. Why is he compelled? Look at this. Look at this. If he tries to protect pawn takes pawn, right? You want to take towards the center. You want your C pawn, you know, to help support D4 at some point, right? So you take this way, but look at what happens. Look at what happens. You trade the rooks, and look at this. He's coming down on the other wing, and he wins the H pawn with check. All right, look at that, folks. No good. No good for white. It starts to crumble, right? So the question is, when he takes like this, all right, he can't take with the A pawn. Can he take like this, even though you wouldn't want to? Look, he lets the bishop right in. Look at this outpost. Look at the outpost on D4. Come on, look at this. All-powerful bishop now on the dark squares, right? All right, the rook's got to move. The engine says here's the best, else you hang your A pawn, right? All right, so there you go. I mean, that's very good for black. He's doing good. All right, so anyway, look at it. Look at the rooks for black. Both rook files are open for him. Semi-open files. You get the rooks beaming down. They're ready to come into the game somehow, right on those files. It's kind of funny. The center is locked up, and you got the wings open up for black. All right, but anyway, here you go. This is compelling Morphy to take on A5. This is what it says. No A3 was played, and there you go. Look at this. Lowenthal taken back with the rook. All right. So now we got let's see. Pawn takes rook, queen rook takes pawn. All right, so now we got move 17, right? Here we go. Pawn. Morphy advancing on the king side. He moved Lowenthal moved his queen rook, so now he's figuring, maybe if Lowenthal castles king side, this pawn is just going to keep coming. And even if he doesn't castle, he's going to push H5, push it up there to H6, disrupt that king side, you know. Bust it open, maybe swing the other rook from A1 over to G8, you know, get things going, get an attack going. All right, but, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Look at Lowenthal. Right? Denied. Blocking the advance of the H-pawn. Denied, right? Lowenthal playing knight to H5. All right, so now we got, here we go. We got, knight to H5, and now we got, okay, Morphy bringing his knight back to F1, maybe challenging that knight, ready to bring it to G3, right? Get rid of that knight, right? So he could continue to advance the H-pawn, rip open the king side. His heavy piece, his queen is over there. He has an advanced pawn in enemy territory. He's got the F5 pawn up there, right? A spearhead to charge forward to start the attack, right? Anything can happen. All right, so now look at Lowenthal, though. He's got another knight, another soldier to bring into battle. Here it is, knight to C5. Okay, compelling Morphy to back off the bishop. He doesn't want to. First of all, I mean, quite simply, you know, just make a dumb move like this. He's threatening to win a piece. Look, you win a rook. I mean, forget it. You trade the minor pieces on B3, and then you win a rook. Not only that, you know, right now, Morphy's got the bishop here. He doesn't want to give it up. Doesn't want to trade it for the knight. All right, so what does Morphy do? He doesn't move the king like a dope. Come on, you got to wake up. He just moves the bishop back. He moves it back to C2. All right, retaining the bishop. Okay, here we go. So Morphy's been retreating that bishop now from C4 to B3 to C2. Not looking too good, right? All right, so here we go. Morphy now. Bishop C2. And you got Lowenthal with the rook to B5. Jumping on that open D file. He's going to swing the rook down to B2. Penetrate into enemy territory. Very awkward now. Very awkward for Morphy. All right, so what does he do about this? What's he going to do, all right? He ends up playing this bishop back. Can you believe this? He's retreating the troops, folks. He doesn't want that rook to come into B2. Look at that. All right, so now get a load of this. Now you got Lowenthal trading the pawns, right? Now get a load of this one. They give the notes. This, you're going to love the fireworks for this one. Inferior to knight to F4 check, right? Okay, here's what they give. Bishop takes knight. You can't, folks, you can't leave a knight a knight on an outpost like this, right, in enemy territory. Very dangerous. All right, so you happily trade it off for your bishop that's, not really threatening the enemy king in any way. You trade them off. Right now, black doesn't take back, though. Here's the move. The old master's give, and it's deadly. Look at this. Rook to b2 coming in, right? Attacking the other bishop. You see how crucial it is to penetrate? Black would sacrifice the knight just to get in, just to get the rook there. Now he's threatening. I mean, you're not really losing much because you're threatening the c2 bishop. So if he moves, you get the other one on f4, right? Two bishops are now hanging. So you're not really sacking the piece, so to speak. But look at this now. Watch what comes through here. This is crazy. Okay? Now, they don't give any more, but if you give the engine some time, and here you go. I had it running. Look at Shredder. Look at Chess Genius. Same thing that Shredder did. Look, pulls the king back to protect the bishop on c2. Big mistake. Now you rip it open. Look at this. You rip open the center. Now the d-pawn's pinned with the king on d1. Look at that queen on d6, right? Aiming at the enemy king. All right, so what are you going to do? You're going to be a dope and take like this and just lose your queen? Come on. Let's wake up. This is the obvious stuff. All right, so what do you do, folks? What do you do? Let's just, for argument's sake, let's say you pull the... Now, if you move the queen here, you just take the bishop on f4 with tempo. You're hitting the queen again, right? You got to move the queen again. So forget that. I'm just stating the obvious. Let's say you pull the queen back over here, right? No good, because now you take on d3. Now the bishop's pinned on c2, right? If the bishop moves, forget it. Look at this. You just grab the queen. You just move the queen, right, to g2. It's a goner now. So now the bishop's hanging. I mean, here's the engine trying to hang on. Look at this. Look at this. You take with check, right? You take with check. Now, the queen is pinned, right? The queen can't take. I mean, all right, so what do? You come in here. Now, look at this. You get the knight check, which is actually a mating pattern. The white king can't go anywhere. He can't do anything, right? So the queen's forced to take. There you go. You take back. All right, big deal. He wins this guy. Come on. What do you got going for you? What's going on here? Look, you check over here, right? All right, king takes here, and look. Let's see. All right, you could take this guy. You see that guy's still hanging. All right, but maybe you do it this way. Goes back. All right, you take over here. You don't open the e-file for the enemy rook, swinging over here. All right, fine. And there you go. We go from there. Big deal. What is white gonna do? He's down a queen against he's down a rook against a queen. Forget about it. White's busted. Right? The f-pawn's shaky. The king is exposed. I mean, forget about it. This game's over. All right. So anyway. You see how it falls apart. Now, let's go back, right? Let's go back. You take here, all right? Now, you got the move, which the engine finds. You see that? Yes, the pawn on e4 is attacking the white queen, but you go in like this. Bishop takes e5. You attack the black queen, right? Now, you don't go queen for queen. You just take your piece. All right, now the queen's still under the gun. All right, you play pawn takes, pawn. Right, and now get a load of this move. The engine here didn't find it yet. Shredder found this one. Look at this. Knight to a4, attacking c3, right? Now, if the bishop takes, which the engine just found, look at this. You swing the rook over here, attacking the queen, right? And now you got a lot going on. You got a lot of threats. Now, the queen, if he backs off, we could take the e-pawn. We're threatening the bishop on a4. We're threatening to come down really with a mating attack. I mean, if the bishop moves, let's just say, right? You come in, look, check, right? King moves. You check over here. Right, king moves. And you get mate, right? Back rank mate. Beginners know those, right? But isn't that beautiful how you set that one up? I mean, forget about it. Now, yeah, there's better moves for white. I'm just showing you some ideas that could crop up. Okay, so anyway, if the queen moves there, you take. I mean, I don't even know where's he go now? You're threatening mate, folks. You're threatening that mate that I just showed you. If the king goes here, right? Which way do we go? What do we do? We could do, could take the bishop on we could just take the bishop on a4, and white's just, you know, in the worst position. Or can we? Here they go. They give this move. I saw that before too. Bishop to c5, I guess threatening the check on a3. Look at this. This is the best. Oh, it's going to be, look at this over here, folks. Look. Mate in 8. Huh? Mate in 8. Forced mate after bishop c5. Let's check it out. Let's check. We got to go in for it, right, folks? We got to see the beauty right here. All right, he sacks the bishop. What does he do? Knight here. All right, we go in with it. Check. He's got nowhere to go from the check except here, right? And now what? We just come down with the queen. Let's see, queen here. Now he goes there. We take the piece. He's only got this square. We take here. We go here, right? He goes here. Oh boy. He goes here. Let's see. King to b3. Well, around the rosy, right? Ring around the rosy. Here we go. He takes this one. All right, so we set him up to get that. We take here. We go here. Look at this. King up. Now, what do we castle? We all right, he's going to use the other rook. All right, I was going to say castle, and then you swing the king rook over to a1, and it's mate, right? But all right. So he went. Keep it going, folks. Keep it going. The check comes in. He blocks. Rook takes. Oh boy, look at that. And there you go. You checkmate him with the queen, supported by the c6 pawn. I know it was long-winded, but there you go. I mean, is it any surprise when your king's under fire like that from all the pieces? Come on, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're going for, okay? This the Morphy style. Sack, mate. You know what I mean? Sack, mate. All right, so here we go. A lot of stuff. Now, this was after this move, right? After we go here, hitting the queen. The only other spot, you know, if he comes off of e4, if he comes here and protects it, right? Well, now what do we do? I don't even know. Was it the same move? I think the engine played. I think it played the bishop to c5 also. But here they're giving castle. Oh yeah, castle. Castle's the move. Because you want to pin. Look at the threat, folks. The threat is rook to d8, pinning the queen to the king. You see this? Now, look, watch this. If he goes here and you do your pin, all right, he goes in for it. Your bishop's covering there. He takes back. And look, he wins two rooks, right? 2 rooks for the queen isn't bad. But get a load of this. The fireworks continues with the check. Now, where does the king go, right? If he steps up, you go here and you win the rook. You win the rook on a1, okay? The rook on a1's hanging. It's a queen fork, right? Now, if he blocks with the knight to link up the rooks, well, you could just take the knight, right? And now where does he go? All right, king g4, right? If he goes here, we go again. He goes only square is up, right? Look at this, threatening mate on g3, huh? Threatening mate on g3. What could he do? What could he do, huh? He plays this. No different. We take. I mean, where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Can he try to block like this? I don't think so. You just check on f3, right? And there you go. Look, he's got no other move, legal move, but this, right? There you go. See how just 2 pieces? If the enemy's defenders are all scattered, you know, it doesn't take much with the king exposed. Bishop and queen combining nice on the dark squares, right? All right, so anyway, you do this. I mean, maybe he comes up, right? I mean, there you go. You could take, all right, same idea, right? We're going for the same attack on the dark squares. Queen to, what's the threat? All right, they bring the rook here to stop queen to g3 check. And then you got, okay, you attack here. You could win the bishop on a4. If nothing else, right? Here we go. Oh, they give the bishop check, right? Forcing him to h5, right? Now we take, right? Rook protects. Look at this. Look at this, Huh? We get the, what if, okay, they give the check. That's correct. Now he can't go anywhere. He's got a block. Now, once the rook is pinned, now you hit him with this guy, right? Every little pawn matters, every little move, right? All right, we win the rook. There you go. We'll win the rook. We're gonna really. He's a goner. He's toast. We got the bishops hanging on a4. I mean, forget it about it. Look, okay, he tries to save him. He attacks the queen, right? Because this was mate, right? Mate was being. Let's say he just goes here, right? You see the mate he's guarding against? All right, so he blocks this one. Let's just for completeness, right? Here we go. Check, right? Mate. Checkmate. I didn't even see it, folks. I'll tell you, they're all over the place. When the king's in enemy territory like that, forget about it. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. When the enemy queen's on your tail in hot pursuit, forget it. And you're in enemy territory, look out. Doesn't take much. All right, so there you go. You know, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of attacking patterns and combinations, right? So there you go. I mean, even if he goes here and he wins the 2 rooks for the queen, I mean, forget it. White's so disorganized, he still falls apart. He's exposed. I mean, forget it, right? I mean, nothing else helps if he king E1, king C. Look at the engine, king C1. All right, we go here now, right? We're over here now. Here we go. And then the queen goes there. And remember this again. Here we go. The bishop C5, ready for the check on A3, right? Right? I mean, just to show you the threat. Let's see this mating attack. Nowhere to go but here, right? Rook comes over, attacks, check here. We got the queen on F4, right? There you go. Queen F4 check. There you go. Knight blocks and it's all over, right? No matter where it blocks. You could block on D2. Doesn't matter, folks. We got that covered by both rooks. Forget it. When the rooks are like, when the rook on B2, he's on the 7th rank. Forget it. Attacking the enemy. Forget it. The position crumbles. All right. So what do we do? We're showing the threat. What could white do here? Look at this. A3 maybe. They had A3 perhaps. Keeping that bishop A3 check out of existence. But all right. They opt here. They say this better. Look, folks. Look at this. Did you see the other threat? Look at this. Now you're forking. The pawn fork. I didn't even see it. Pitfalls all over the place. Forget it. When the position, you know, when it rains, it pours, right? I mean, he's a goner. Look at this. Mate and 6. I guess he decides to just sack the queen, to be spiteful. Oh, look at this. He throws the bishop there. All right. King goes down. What do they got next? I mean, mate and 4. Mate and 4. He's toast. He's toast. The knight develops. I mean, really, folks, come on. This is it. Do we have to go more? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? He's just gobbling them up, right? Just gobble them up. All right, anyway, picking up these patterns and attacks. All right. So anyway, there you go, right? I mean, this whole thing crumbles. Forget about it. He's got nothing. White's got nothing at this point. After king to D1, forget it. You rip it open. Rip it open, he's a goner. Right? You trade like this. He trades, forget it. It's all over. Knight to A4. I mean, forget it. If he takes the piece, he's still toast. Attack the queen. Where does the queen go? Right, all instant replay. Your castle's threatening rook D8. He moves to C1. He moves to E1. It's all over. It doesn't matter, folks. It's all over. White's down by 2.5 pawns, if anything. Look at this. Right? I mean, it shows you how much the attack is worth. I mean, black's down a piece right now, right? He's down a piece plus a pawn. Makes no difference. Look at the pieces white has. The 2 rooks, they're totally useless out of the game. The knight on F1, what's he doing over there? He's not in the game. I mean, come on, he's blocking up the back rank, just making it easy for black to attack, you know? All right. Bishop on A4. Garbage, right? Not doing anything. All right, there you go. See? Let's get back to... So, I mean, they just conclude... You know, this is a lot to get into, but they were just saying, you know, that knight here, bishop takes, and there you go. Rook down to B2. That's all they give, folks. I just showed you why. But that's what the masters right here say. They just leave it at this, all right? So there you go. I just showed you why it crumbles for white, right? Why this is recommended. Now, let's see what Lowenthal does, though, right? He takes the pawn here first. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Not the best move by Lowenthal. Here he goes. Here he goes. Pawn takes pawn. We got, let's see. Morphy takes back. Okay, now the D file's open. All right. Looks pretty good for Lowenthal. The D pawn's open. The D file is open, right? But now it says Lowenthal with rook to B2. Right? Morphy gobbles up that rook. And now the knight swings into F4 outpost with check, right? Pretty deadly, but I'll tell you, this is what it says. Okay, Lowenthal reversing the attack, right? Instead of sacking what we just looked at, in a sense. I mean, he exchanges on E4 first, too. That's another thing. Okay, now the king's not on D1, right? Like in the other line. But the other feature, what we're talking about, is he sacks the rook in order to get the knight in the game, right? The other way was he sacked the knight on F4 to get the rook on B2. Big difference here, right? Morphy gobbles it up. Knight comes in with check, but get a load of this. It says Lowenthal afterwards explained that he miscalculated, thinking white could not reply king to E2 in his 25th move, whereas really that saved the game for white. Okay, here we go. We'll show you what we're talking about. So the bishop took the rook, the knight came in with check, the king went to E1, folks. You don't want to go here, look out. Knight takes E4, double check. Double check, the strongest move in chess. You can't block it. You can't destroy the attacker. Look at this, folks. The bishop on B6 and the knight on E4 check the white king. The only square left for white is E1, and here you go. You bring the bishop down with check, and white's forced to give up the queen for the two minor pieces, right? All right, so black also sacked. He also sacked the rook on B2, so I mean, white has some material here, but again, the position, the pieces, the position of the pieces. Remember against Meek in Game 6? Morphy posted that knight on F4. Look, it's there again, folks, on the outpost. Queen and knight, forget it, folks. They combine better. Ask any grandmaster what the two pieces that combine better than anything else. A queen and a queen and knight. They work better together. They complement one another. You're going to see why. All right, we'll show you right now. The black queen and the knight are going to take on the whole white army here. Look at this. Here's the quiet, subtle move. Queen to D5. If you're cheating, looking up at the engine, all right, you saw it. Queen to D5. What's he threatening? Well, it's just throwing a silly move. Look, folks, mating to. Whether he goes here, it's mate, right? Even if he goes up, it's mate. Just like that pattern, we saw it at the end of Game 6 against Meek. It was there. It's over here waiting to be played, all right? So no A3. What does white do, right? Now, the knight's covering D2 also, but when he comes up here to protect G2 and that mate, he just lets the queen in on this side now. Queen to D2 check. All right, he's got to hang on to that knight, right? If he moves here or he moves down, I mean, forget it. If he moves anywhere, black's going to gobble the knight, right? So he comes up, tries to hang on to the knight. All right, he goes here. Again, if he moves off, I mean, forget it. It's going to be mating in no time. I mean, if he comes here, that's a mating pattern for you right there. The knight covers H3. Forget it. Checkmate, right? If he comes up, I mean, you check this way. I mean, if he comes down, now you check there. There's another mating pattern, right? Similar to the other one. If he comes up, I mean, look, you can mate him here, right? Well, let's get the rook in the game. He's been patient, right? We'll get every soldier into the attack. There you go. He's been a good boy sitting over there. There you go. Let him give the mating blow. All right, there you go. So he can't go this way, folks. He can't go this way. He's got to go up. He's got to go up, right? Now look at what this does. You build up on the pinned knight. Look at this. And the knight, your knight on g2. Now, you can't boot the queen out of the position, right? Because the knight covers that too. I mean, forget it. Look at this. So now the knights are gone, and the only way to hang on to it is to try to defend it with this. But now white's really tangling himself in knots. The rooks aren't linked up. You're threatened now. You threaten the knight back. You're attacking the bishop on c2, right? You're even maybe threatening a check on f3 at some point. If you play f6, you got a mating net going. I mean, all right, so the engine, he goes like this, right? Now, you don't take this one because then he gets that one, right? So what you do is simple enough. You attack. You grab your bishop on c2. Now the knight's pinned again. He's attacking the rook here. He can't chase the queen out. The knight covers e1 again. All right, you try to chase him out. You exchange the knights. I mean, you give the check. I mean, whatever. The king moves. I mean, forget it. You grab this guy with check. I mean, forget it. Forget it. You got the queen for the two rooks. You got the rook for the white bishop. And you got 5 pawns to 3. Forget it. It's over. Black's got an easy win here. Right? All right, there you go. There you go. You see how these two pieces, beautiful, huh? When your pieces are coordinated, forget about it. And when it's a queen and knight, oh, destruction, folks, destruction. This is why we play this game. I wouldn't mind losing 2 or 3 games in a tournament and then getting an attack like this. Forget it. A la Morphy, forget it. This is beautiful stuff. This is why I play chess, you know. I mean, I know I'm not going to be competing for the for first prize in the Open, but hey, you know, you get a nice attack on a higher rated opponent too, you know. It makes it all worthwhile. All right, here we go. So, let's go back. That double check, forget about it. You can't fall for this one, folks. You can't fall into this. All right, so what does Morphy do? Of course, like I said, he pulls the king back to the only square. And now, here you go. Watch this. Lowenthal goes in with the knight check, right? Let's see. Make sure I throw the right check, the right knight in there. Let's see. He throws the knight to a d3 check. Okay, the bishop chops it off. And now the other knight comes in, right? The other knight to d3 check. Now, this is what he's saying on his 25th move. He didn't see this one, right? Now, I don't know if he was playing for the draw, folks, because on this, right? All right, on this, I guess he takes, let's see, look. They're just saying draw. See the engine? This is the best. If he was only able to go to these 2 squares, right, this would just be a draw. So I don't know. Is that what he's playing for? He's just playing for the draw? Was that what Lowenthal was going for the whole time? You know? I don't know. But anyway, we go back, right? That would be you know, perpetual check or repetition, right? It's the same position more than 3 times. All right, so here we go. So what happens here after the knight takes check? You got king to d2. This is what Lowenthal missed. Squeezing out of it, getting out of this. All right, so yes, it was, yep. Okay, so here we go. So what does he do? Now Lowenthal takes the bishop, right? He takes the bishop with a discovered check from the queen. All right, Morphy slides it on over, getting ready to take that knight. Okay, and here we go. We got Morphy king to c2, and now we have the queen coming down to protect the knight. Bad move. All right, here we go. Here's what it recommends at this stage. Knight over, right? Knight to c4. With knight to c4, you get the queen over here, right? Wanting to trade, you know, trade off those queens when under attack, right? You're attacking the knight, hoping to force the trade, all right? But if Black just stuck to his guns like this, checks, all right? The king can't go over here. He loses the queen, right? So he's got to stay. The king's got to protect that queen. He goes here, you check him again. He goes back, you check him again. And this is it. This would be a draw. So Black would still retain the draw at this point. But what he does, they also mention this, right? On this check, king over. On this one, if the king was to go over here, they give this move. They say, if king to e2, okay, they say queen to c5 is a serious threat coming down. What's the threat, folks? Look, forced here, right into the knight fork, huh? Crazy, crazy. Game over. All right, put the pawn back. But if you look at the engine, they throw the queen over here, and I don't know if it's all that obvious. I mean, Shredder did play this, and that's threatening. If he comes down, you figured, oh, I'm going to come down, maybe threaten that rook. Folks, you got mate. You see that pattern? The knight takes d3 and d1 away. The light squares, takes it away from the king, huh? Beautiful. So white can't take on g7, no way. All right, say the king comes over here, they're saying. I mean, you know, what do we got? Knight a4. All right, if knight a4 and he tries this, if he tries this now, what do we got, huh? We go here with check. If let's see, he's got two squares, e2 and d1, right? So if he goes to d1, just to see, you get the knight check, force him to e2 now. And now you got, let's see, you can't check here because the knight covers e3, so you check here. King's only square is here, right? Now you do this guy. I see what's a-coming. I see what's a-coming. Let's see. You could try to win the queen over there, but you block with the knight on g3. That was what I was looking at. Okay, they're saying throw the check here, right? Only square. Now what? Holy smokes! Look at that. The rook coming in with a fatal blow here. Let's see. What do we got? Oh man! Oh, that rook on h8! I tell you, he was a sleeper. He was over there the whole game. I even forgot about him, to tell you the truth. Look at this. Oh my God! Very nice, very nice. So he still can't take. You see how close it is, folks? I mean, you know, you're dangling on a precipice here. After this, all right, he doesn't go there. Let's see if he goes here straight away, right? Straight away. All right, so now what? Maybe you check on C2 all the same. Maybe you check on C2. They're saying C4. All right, don't you get the same thing if you check on? I mean, if you go here, right, and if he's dumb enough to go here, it's mate, right? And don't you get the same old thing if he goes, oh, he could block. Oh, okay, he could block. I was going to say, isn't it the same? You go here, now you get this, right? All right, I missed it, folks. I tell you there, I would have lost the game, right? Would have lost the game. So anyway, on this, you play C4. All right. When in doubt, okay. Now where does he go, right? He goes up now. Now do we transpose in a sense? King to D2. Right, we go. Oh, look at this. We take with check. King here. F4, check. King down. King there. King up. King down. King this way. King that way. Here comes the rook. Game over. All right, very nice. Very nice. So, you know, they're here. They're waiting to be made, folks. You just got to find them, right? This is the thing. When you're playing your opponent and you're an amateur and you're under, like, say, 1,400, and you know how many things you miss, how many tactics. I mean, move to move, the evaluation could go up and down. But once you strengthen your game with these Morphy games, folks, forget it. You're not going to miss anything tactically. Tactically, you're not going to miss anything, and that's more than half the battle, folks. More than half the battle, right? Chess is 99% tactics. Who said that? Remember that one? All right, anyway, so, I mean, you take over here, all right. So, the queen can't take on G7. White gets into trouble. So he gets mated. Look, so here you go. You defend with your rook over there now. All right, you pile up with the bishop maybe. All right, I mean, this is a game still, right? We're still fighting. I mean, heck, why not just throw the rook? I don't see why not castling, right? You castle, look, you castle, you get that rook in the game on the D. So, like I was saying, to throw the rook on the open D file. Look at this. You castle, that's your next move. You know, you're gonna throw that rook on the open D file. You want the big guns in the attack. You understand? I mean, it's the natural move, right? I mean, you can't do something like this, threatening mate on G7, because remember the dark square battery, folks, right? That was my first. I eyed that. I said, wait, can white have a counter attack? But it doesn't work, folks, right? So, I mean, even here, look at the engine, right? King here, right? I don't know. You get the rook on the open file. That's the natural move, and that's what it's showing here. See how the engine finds it, folks? I know we're not giving the engine much time, but you see how it works? Natural moves, you know. The rooks belong on the open file. Okay, so anyway, here we go. See, I don't know. This is what the engine wants to do. I mean, let's just turn it around at this point, right? I mean, it says here it's a close game still, close battle. I mean, it's, let's see. If you do F6 for whatever, I guess they don't want to. I guess fearing whites push the pawn. Is this what they're doing here? Pushing the pawn, threatening mate. And of course, block the mate, right? All right, now they're going to do this. You know, it's still a fight, but look at the engine. It's even, folks. Even Steven. But I think, yes, black's down the exchange, but he has the initiative. He's really attacking here. Let's just give it a little more. Let's see. When they attack C3, how's he defend? All right, he swings this guy over here, right? Swings that guy over there. The pawn is pinned. Look at this. The same queen here. I mean, you know, okay, it's still a fight somewhat. You know, we're hitting, we're going after E4 maybe. Is that the idea? Look at this. He tries to go this way. Well, now it's saying, look, with knight C5, look, it's saying that white's losing. He's losing by a pawn and a half or so. Right? You know, whatever. Maybe white fights on a little longer. Look at this. Black's got to watch this. You know, get it right on G7, threatening mate in 1. You know, but can he risk doing that now? No way, right? No way. Let's see what happens. Huh? Double-edged, right? You take with check. Let's see how big of a threat this is, right? Block with the knight, which the queen protects. Man, I'll tell you, folks, you know, forgive me, I'm getting sucked right in, you know. Before we get, you know what you do? That's a little homework. You play that one out with your engine, you know. Play that one out, because we're really getting deep into it, right? I'll tell you, I can't even remember where we came from. Oh, okay. Yes, so the book mentions that if white was to go this way, very devastating move, queen to C5. Threatening queen to F2. All right, white's got an answer, but, you know, you're on very shaky ground. One slip and it falls all apart. You understand? It's harder to play white in this position than black. Black's got the initiative. Black's got the threats. Black's got the active pieces. And white's not well coordinated. You know, you got him backpedaling. But he's got the rook. He's got the, if he could survive the attack, he's got the exchange. He's up the exchange, right? Who knows, folks? You could figure that one out. Play with that one, right? Homework. But anyway, let's go back now. So anyway, this is all stemming after the exchange. Those guys are on D3. The king up. All right, he takes king over, right? And here you go. That's what should have been played. Okay, Lowenthal plays the queen down. Now, I guess he's figuring if white makes a move, I don't know, let's throw a senseless move in, right? Okay, he's gonna take this guy, right? He's gonna take him. That's the next move, obviously. All right. So I was thinking he's gonna keep the queen from coming into the position, with with moving the a pawn. So he wants to protect the knight. I mean, this is next. White king takes the knight is White's next move, so it makes sense. I guess it's easy to fall for that mistake. Instead of moving the knight, he goes to protect it. All right, fine. Right. So now where are we? Right. So here we go. Here we go. Got to jump back into it. All right. So here we go into the game. Right. King this. Let's see. Oh, this is crazy now too. This is crazy. So king to c2. You got the queen to a3 to protect the knight. And here we go. Look at this. Morphy getting his knight into the game. Get it off that back rank. Link them rooks up. Okay. Knight to d2. Right. Now this one I don't get, folks. I don't know. He moves. That's a double question mark. Maybe he's fearing, just to show you real quick, maybe he's somehow fearing this, Meanwhile, the black knight on b2 has that square covered. But either way, Lowenthal goes like this. Look, he retreats the bishop back. Does that make sense? I mean, they give it a double question mark, right? And there you go. What's next? What's next is this. Look, knight to knight 1. Now the queen's got to retreat. Queen has to retreat, leaving the knight dead as a doornail, right? All right, so look at this. They say a6. They didn't play any more moves, folks. Lowenthal resigned because he was going to lose this piece. See that? And he's got nothing for it. And there, White can consolidate now, get his men out. He's up big time. He's up now he's not just up the exchange. By winning the knight, he's up a full rook. Forget about it. And there, that's all Morphy needed. So here it is right here. We got the end notes. Morphy is very lucky in this game. His opponent making at least 3 blunders after getting a winning position. His own play is shaky at the beginning of the present match, as in those against Horowitz and Anderson. So, our hero's a little shaky. He came over, remember, a long boat ride over the Atlantic. He's in hostile territories, right? He's not at home. He's not on the home turf. So, a little shaky, they notice in his play. In each of these match games, Lowenthal, Horowitz, and Anderson. We'll see the other 2 Titans. We'll see Morphy go up against them. But for now, Lowenthal, first game, second game, right? My mistake. Second game match, and he blows it, right? He had a winning game, folks. He really did. He had a winning position against the champ here. But it wasn't to be. Morphy survives, right? So anyway, we'll see now what happens in the third match game between these 2. All right. Hang in there, folks. We'll see you next time on Morphy's Games of Chess.